beautiful beings. So if you are new to my world, my name is Brittany. I talk about all things soul development and multidimensional information. And I felt called to share today on transformation. The intention is that this is going to be fully encoded with the information, activations, and anything that will support your journey. Many of you that have been moving through this process are going to recognize this as I'm sharing is around November and December, there was a huge opening for transformation for those of us that were ready. And I know since my awakening has been a continuous process of life, death, and rebirth, the transformation cycle. And so that is a lot of the things that I share. And that's why I also do quantum transformation. It's moving from one state, being, or identity into a more aligned version of self. And so I could feel the shift during that time. And the thing about being a highly in tune individual is when I experience emotions, they are fully felt to the intensity. So when I experience happiness and joy in a state of bliss, and also when we move through the death cycles, it literally feels like death. And so around that time, what I started recognizing was that my soul was stepping into the evolutionary cycle. Everything in my experience was not bringing me happiness. And so I realized that it was because the frequency shift. So everything that was a part of an old experience, an old identity, old attachments, and all of the things was needing to be cleared. And so it was being highlighted, the difference and the shift in frequency within myself. This is something that I've learned to enjoy, the transformation cycle, and it's something that does motivate me. So I was doing extensive processes on myself to clear away and start at a clean slate and clearing everything out, deleting everything, all of the attachments, all of the things that had kept me in a previous state of being. And everything was becoming very highlighted. The spaces I was no longer intended to be in. And I'm going to share this on a personal note because many don't see what goes on the back end. And when you are a highly aware, highly intuitive, a healer, a seer, and you hold a high frequency, there is a lot of individuals that will send psychic attack. And I'm going to share on this because this will be helpful for those that understand what I'm saying. And being conscious aware of the individuals in your experience. And a lot of people tend to block their third eye because fear of seeing what's really there and see the truth that individuals in our experience or that we're connected to or friendships or even family could be sending psychic attacks. So having practices to cleanse your energy from others and disconnecting yourself from situations and people where needed. And anyways, so there was a lot of, and I was getting tired and I had sat in process and I was guided that I needed to see. God was telling me I need to witness what was moving through the field, and it was very hard for my human to accept. And what I've come to is that if individuals are not doing what's required to do the work, then they're leaving themselves open for infiltration, also implants, descended aspects, all of these things to come through. And when we're connected to different spaces and people, it can influence. And so I had to disconnect my energy from a lot of places and spaces so I could come back to me. With that, I asked God and I said, God, if you want me to continue on this path, to do this work, to be able to support individuals that are ready to step in and begin this process, then I need support here. And so with that, I've always had a close connection with dragons, since the dragons just came in and were surrounding and helping me purify the energy and also giving gifts to help support me, especially when you are a seer, because when you hold a strong sight and you can see the future, you can see potentials, and you can see and share that information, individuals want to try to block that. And I share this to not stimulate fear, but it comes with the territory of doing energetic work, whether you see it, sense it, feel it. Like I mentioned, everything in the experience was requiring a shift, clearing, and an upgrade, not just externally, but also internally. So I'm going to speak about the next point of transformation on a physical lens. And you might know that I talk a lot about the body and the internal structures. And so if you are a high frequency, high dimensional, or high consciousness being, our physical bodies have to go through the transformations to be able to hold and stabilize in our frequency. And if we are not in a physical body that's in coherence with what our frequency is, and that's where we can see a lot of physical manifestations coming to the surface, because the physical matter is not aligned or purified to be able to sustainably anchor the light in your physical body. If you are one of these type of beings, the overall goal is to come into unification with your human being and be embodied in this physical reality and that frequency. And so if you are one of these beings, you are going to require a transformation from a third dimensional vessel into a 5D vessel or higher, depending on the frequency and the state of consciousness. So I know throughout our journeys, everyone's experiencing massive transformations within the body. If you haven't had the chance to read my post from the other day, you might want to check it out if this is resonating for you. But your physical body, it holds its own state of consciousness. If we have things that are stored within us, and I'll just share from my personal experience, what I had found was there was belief systems that were stored in the organic matter in different organs that were actually preventing me from opening and expanding. When I was moving through these pieces, I also needed to release the densities that were held in the body that were not in alignment with the version I was stepping into. And so that brought with it a lot of pain to release, to restructure, to purify out of my system. And so I wanted to share that just to highlight that the transformation process isn't just an energetic one, it's also a physical transformation of our body to step into a higher state of expression and living in our experience. The other piece around this is if we're holding stuff within our physical vessel that is dense, that is old belief systems, that is any of the array of things you can think of from childhood, from abuse, from addiction, that we can journey in our physical experience can be stored internally. And so when we're trying to create something new in our life, or we're trying to manifest, if we are still holding that within our nervous system, within our cellular memory, within our muscles, within our tissues, that can play a huge impact on our capacity to actually create a different experience, because our physical matter is not at a frequency alignment to our truth and what our soul expression knows that is true for us. And that's why woven throughout my work, I emphasize how important it is that our physical body be at capacity to hold our light. Because if the frequency is not aligned, we're going to experience many disruptions, not only in our physical reality, because that's also what's attracting things in our experience, it's also going to show up as physical ailments, different diseases, vibrational disorders. And so that is a huge part of the work that I do, is working with the frequency, not only of the individual soul, but also with the frequency of the physical vessel, so we can be stabilized in who we are. Because that's the intention here of Chosen, is to be fully anchored in our unified expression. If you are moving through this, or if you are seeking to transform a certain area of your life, how important it is right now to clear the energy of anything that is no longer in alignment. When we are holding different energies in our field that are not aligned, it is actually preventing our creations or manifestations to come into our reality, because energy is neither created nor destroyed. It's just, are we holding up space with things that are not in alignment with the next version of ourselves? And so if you're moving through this, I'm just honoring you. And if you are seeking deeper transformation on your journey, and you can feel that you're at this cusp, that something is needing to clear out, to change, to shift, so you can step into the next version of yourself in this physical reality, then I just invite you, feel free to check out my link tree, as it has the current offerings, as well as, if you have yet to see it, I am doing a dragon transmission in February. And so if you feel a strong connection to the dragon lineage, then you may want to check out that post. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And with all of that, my beautiful, beautiful beings, I'm sending everybody so much love.